Life has a way of pressing us down, doesn't it? Struggles come like waves, one after another, pounding against our faith, shaking our confidence, making us question if we will ever see the light on the other side of the storm. Some of you are walking through valleys so deep that you wonder if God has forgotten your name. You've cried, you've prayed, you've fasted, you've waited, and still the mountain stands in your way. But I came to remind you today that the plan of God is greater than the pain you are facing. His design is bigger than the dilemma that has you sleepless at night. His vision for your life far exceeds the valley you are walking through right now. Struggles are not signs that God has abandoned you. They are often the evidence that He is preparing you. You don't grow on the mountaintop, you grow in the valley. You don't learn how to pray when everything is perfect. You learn how to pray when tears are rolling down your face and you don't know how you'll make it through the night. You don't learn endurance when doors are opening easily. You learn endurance when you keep knocking and nothing seems to move. Every struggle you face is shaping you for a destiny you cannot see yet. When life doesn't make sense, you've got to remind yourself, God is still in control. His plan did not collapse because your heart was broken. His plan did not fall apart because you lost the job, or because the relationship ended, or because sickness showed up in your body. God knew the struggle before you ever stepped into it. He factored in your mistakes, your failures, your weaknesses, and He still said, I've got a plan for your life. The enemy wants you to believe that the struggle is permanent, that the valley is endless, that the storm will never pass. But storms have an expiration date. Valleys lead to mountaintops. Pain has a purpose, and God has already written the final chapter of your story. If you could see what He has prepared for you, you wouldn't waste another tear worrying about what you lost. If you could glimpse the magnitude of His plan, you would stand tall even in the midst of the battle, because you'd know the struggle is only temporary. You may not understand the season you're in, but you can trust the one who holds the season in His hand. You can trust that the same God who allowed the struggle will use it to elevate you, strengthen you, and prepare you for greater. Don't despise the struggle, because without the struggle, you would not have the strength to carry the blessing He is sending your way. Your struggle is not the end. It is the process. It is the shaping. It is the refining. God's plan is still intact. His word is still true, and His promises are still yes and amen. Lift your head, square your shoulders, and keep walking. What He started in you, He will finish. And what looks like a setback right now is nothing more than a setup for the glory that is coming next. Life has a way of shaking us at the very core. The winds blow against our dreams, storms rise against our peace, and challenges seem to tower higher than the strength we feel inside. You pray, you cry, you believe, and yet you still find yourself in the fire. You wonder if you have been forgotten, if your prayers have hit a ceiling, if the pain will ever ease. You look around and see others moving forward, doors opening for them, blessings falling in their laps while you are stuck in the waiting, fighting battles nobody else can see. But what if I told you that your struggle is not a sign of abandonment, but an indication of preparation? What if I told you that the depth of your pain is only a reflection of the height of the destiny that awaits you? The struggle is not your enemy. It is a tool in the hand of God to mold, refine, and strengthen you for something bigger than you could ever imagine. When you walk through the valley, it is easy to forget that valleys are the passageways to higher ground. You do not climb from one mountain to another without first going down into the dip. Life is full of these dips, these in-between places where you feel disoriented, where your faith is tested, where your heart aches. It is in those places that God is closest, not furthest. It is in those places that He whispers truths that can only be heard when everything else is stripped away. You see, struggles are the classrooms of destiny. Nobody signs up for them willingly, but everyone who carries greatness has had to pass through them. Your struggles will not last forever, but while they remain, they will reveal who you are and who you are becoming. They strip away pride, they teach you humility, they shape your prayer life, they demand your patience, and they force you to lean not on your own understanding, but on God's hand. Every sleepless night, every unanswered prayer, every disappointment is weaving into a fabric that is far greater than the thread you see today. From the loom of struggle comes the garment of strength. Think about this. The struggle you are facing was already accounted for in the plan of God. He did not design your destiny and then become surprised when trouble showed up. He factored in your weaknesses, your mistakes, your failures, and still wrote a plan that leads to victory. He knew the heartbreak you would experience, the losses you would endure, the moments you would want to give up, and yet he still declared that your future is secure in his hand. If the struggle was bigger than the plan, you would have been destroyed by now. But the very fact that you are still standing, still breathing, still pressing, is proof that his plan is holding you up even when your strength is gone. The enemy would have you believe that this season is final, that your current condition will be your permanent residence. But storms do not last forever. Nights always give way to mornings. Seasons always change. What looks like an end is often just the middle of the story. What feels like loss is often a doorway to a greater gain. What looks like silence from God is often the stage being set for the loudest display of His glory in your life. The truth is, you are not buried, you are planted. There is a difference. When something is buried, it is gone. When something is planted, it is expected to grow. The dirt around you is not your grave, it is your environment for transformation. The weight on you is not to crush you, but to develop roots in you so that when you rise stronger, taller, unshakable. This is why you cannot despise the struggle. This is why you cannot give up in the middle of the process. The plan of God is too big to be derailed by temporary pain, too strong to be destroyed by present problems, too perfect to be cancelled by human opposition. There are moments in life when the weight of the struggle feels heavier than your ability to carry it. You wake up each morning with questions in your heart, wondering why the storm has not passed, why the mountain has not moved, why the breakthrough seems delayed. It is in those moments that you must remember the struggle is not an interruption to your journey. It is part of your journey. The path to greatness is paved with challenges that demand your faith, your patience, and your resilience. You cannot pray for strength and expect life to remain easy, because strength is developed in resistance. Muscles are built under pressure, diamonds are formed under heat, and faith is perfected through trials. Without the struggle, you would never uncover the depth of what God placed inside you. Many people want the reward without the process, the promise without the pain, the crown without the cross. But destiny does not come wrapped in comfort, it comes wrapped in conflict. The struggle is what refines you, removes what is unnecessary, and prepares you for the weight of what is ahead. If blessings came without battles, you would not appreciate them. If victories came without wars, you would not celebrate them. The beauty of the promise is magnified when you have endured the process that leads to it. The deeper the struggle, the greater the testimony. Sometimes you may feel like the struggle is punishment, like you are being singled out, like your prayers are being ignored. But struggles are not punishment, they are preparation. They are the evidence that something greater is coming. When life presses you, it is not to destroy you, but to reveal what is inside of you. Pressure does not create weakness, it exposes strength. If you could see how God is using the pain to shape your purpose, you would not despise it. If you could see the end of the story, you would not cry over the middle. The struggle is never wasted because in every tear, in every setback, in every delay, something inside you is being built that cannot be broken. It is in the seasons of struggle that you learn who God is on a deeper level. You discover Him not just as a provider when resources flow easily, but as sustainer when you are down to your last. You discover Him not just as healer when your body feels strong, but as comforter when you lie awake in pain. You discover Him not just as deliverer when doors open freely, but as keeper when every door seems locked. The struggles strip away superficial faith and force you into intimacy with the one who holds the universe. They remind you that no matter how great your strength, it will never be enough without his hand guiding you. And while you are in the struggle, the enemy will whisper lies. He will tell you it is over, that nothing will change, that your best days are behind you. He will magnify your pain to make you forget the promise. But you must silence those voices with truth. The plan of God is not fragile. It does not crumble under the weight of your mistakes. It does not dissolve in the face of trials. It does not vanish because time has passed. His plan remains firm even when everything else is shaking. Every closed door, every heartbreak, every lonely night has a place in the story that is unfolding. Nothing is wasted. Even the struggles you do not understand are leading you to the place you were always meant to be. The plan is bigger than the present pain. The design is greater than the delay. You cannot see the full picture yet because you are standing in the middle of the canvas, but the artist has already completed the masterpiece. There are seasons in life when the struggle seems unending, when one battle ends only for another to begin, when your prayers feel like echoes returning unanswered, and your faith feels like it is hanging by a thread. You look at your life and wonder how all the broken pieces could ever fit together again. But the truth is, the struggle is not there to destroy you, it is there to develop you. It is not a sign that you have been forgotten. It is proof that you are being prepared for something greater than you can see. Every struggle is a lesson, every trial is a teacher, every valley is a pathway to higher ground. What looks like a delay is often divine protection, and what feels like rejection is often redirection towards something far better. When you face struggles, you must remember that God's plan is not canceled by your pain. His design does not unravel because life got messy. In fact, it is in the mess that he reveals his greatest miracles, the miracle of endurance, the miracle of peace in the storm, the miracle of strength you did not know you had. You cannot discover how strong your faith is until it is tested. You cannot know how much endurance is inside you until you have been pressed beyond your limits. Struggles have a way of pulling greatness out of you, of showing you that there is more in you than you realized. What you thought would break you is often the very thing that makes you unshakable. The struggle is the soil where your roots go deep. Without the struggle, you would remain shallow, swayed by every wind that blows. But the struggle forces you to dig deeper, to anchor yourself in truth, to cling to promises even when everything around you contradicts them. It pushes you to pray when you would rather quit, to trust when you cannot trace his hand, to believe when the evidence says otherwise. These are not small things. These are the qualities that shape destiny, the traits that prepare you for doors you could not handle if they opened too soon. Without the struggle, the blessing would crush you. But with the struggle, you are strengthened to carry what is coming. It is important to understand that struggles are temporary, but what they produce in you is eternal. Pain fades, storms pass, battles end, but the character built through them lasts forever. Think about how many times you thought you would not survive, yet here you are, still standing. That is not by accident. That is proof that the plan of God is bigger than the attack of the enemy, bigger than the weight of the pain, bigger than the depth of the valley. The same God who brought you through before will bring you through again, because his plan did not end when trouble began. There is also a hidden beauty in struggles. They teach you empathy, they make you tender, they give you eyes to see others who are hurting. When you come out of the fire, you carry not just your own testimony, but the power to encourage others still in theirs. Your struggle becomes a bridge for someone else's healing. Your scars become evidence that survival is possible. What tried to silence you becomes the very thing that gives your voice power. What the enemy meant for harm is turned into a weapon in your hand to lift others out of despair. So even while you wrestle with questions, even while you fight through tears, even while you walk through shadows, know this: the plan is unfolding. You may not understand it, you may not see the full picture, but every step, every trial, every detour has a place in the masterpiece. The threads of pain are woven with the threads of promise to create something far greater than the struggle itself. If you could see the end from the beginning, you would not curse the struggle but embrace it. Because you would know that God's plan is not just to bring you out, but to bring you up. Not just to deliver you, but to develop you. Not just to preserve you, but to propel you into the fullness of destiny that He prepared before you ever faced the fight.